which is used by web browsers to dynamically format web pages. Okay. So after that, after HTML, we also had HTML+, which was more advanced language. The specifications were intended to be, let's say, treated as a standard for future implementation, which we are using now with the advance of technology. So further development also took place, and now we are using HTML+. Then we also have URL. So any idea about URL? What is URL? Anyone? URL?
No idea, ma'am. It's like www. World Wide Web. It is something like that.
Yes, yes. It's the address of a web page on World Wide Web. So a URL is Uniform
Resource Limited.
Yeah, Uniform Resource Locator. Okay, it can also be, it's a subset of URI, that is Uniform Resource Identifier. It specifies where, an identify resource is available and the mechanism for retrieving it, right? We retrieve it through the link, right? The web address on the web page. So in popular usage and in many technical documents, and if we have a verbal discussion also, it is often used as synonym for URL. So here, this is the address of a web page on the World Wide Web. So URL was created in the year 1994 again by Tim Berners-Lee as part of the URI, that is Uniform Resource Identifier. So see, earlier, they regretted the use of dots to separate the route to the server. We use dots, right, in the address bar. So after that, those dots were replaced by slash. So if you observe a URL address, what do you find? HTTP. We have slash, right? So earlier, there were dots used, then it was replaced by slash. Forward slashes, right? 2 forward slashes. So every URL consists of some of the, a protocol, right? We have a name, scheme name, protocol, then a colon. Then depending on the, the address, we have a host name, or we can say IP address, right? Then there will be a number.
Yes, ma'am. Random numbers and alphabets are there.
That is known as port number.
Specific code for particular website.
Port number, PORT, port number. See, there will be a path of the resource to be fetched for the program to be run, right? So then these programs will have common gateway interface. That means they will use this HTML documents to retrieve with the help of URL to retrieve the documents. Where it will be where these web page will be displayed. Understood about URL?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the web address. Then we have hyperlink. Do you have an idea about hyperlink? If you see a web page, you have some links, right?
Yes, ma'am. That links are related to some of the websites. So these, with the help of HTML, some codes will be there. With the help of HTML only, we can prepare this hyperlink.
Yeah, this links is a reference to a document that the reader can directly follow, or which is followed automatically, right? The reference points to the whole document. If you click that link, you will be redirected to another page, another web page. So the reference point to whole document, or we can say to a specific element within a document. For example, if you are reading about something and if you want to know the background or history, then there will be a hyperlink or link given there. If you click on that link, then you will be redirected to another page where you can read about the history or background of specific topic, right? So to hyperlink means means simply link to another document. Okay, this is hyperlink. So if we
connection point, right, ma'am? From one website to another, a link, a particular link, that is called hyperlink.
yes, if we follow a hyperlink, we are supposed to navigate or browse the hypertext.
Yeah, it's a shortcut method to go to a particular link. So this type of hyperlink.
See, a hyperlink, what does it add is it has the anchor. That means which is location specific within a document, right? From that hyperlink, we can follow that document, which is known as source document. The main source document is being redirected through that given hyperlink. The target of a hyperlink is to redirect us to take us to the document or location, right? So the user can follow the link when it is shown by activating in some way, right? We have to activate that link in order to navigate. So often by clicking on that with a device, right? So the target web page will be displayed. So in some hypertext, hyperlinks can be bidirectional. That means they can be followed in two directions. So both points, like they will redirect it to two pages, bidirectional hyperlinks. So these are some complex arrangements, but normally, usually we only follow one hyperlink system. So the most common example of a hypertext today is the World Wide Web, right? Because web pages contain hyperlinks to web pages. For example, in an online reference work such as Wikipedia, many words and terms in the text are hyperlinked to definitions, right? To those terms. So hyperlinks are often, we can say, it is used to implement reference mechanisms that will take us to another source, right? They also have table of contents, footnotes, then even bibliographies. We can also have this indexes and glossaries also through hyperlink. Okay. See, the effect of following a hyperlink may vary with the hypertext system, because sometimes on the link itself, for instance, on the World Wide Web, more hyperlinks cause the target documents to replace the document, right? Because what happens is when you follow a given hyperlink, the main source, the page will be closed automatically, and another page will be, or another document will be displayed, right? Or sometimes the page may get stuck. Okay. So this thing where, there is a third option when, when an automatic software program affects the hypertext, then we can gather all these hyperlinks together and retrieve the documents. So this specific program is known as crawling the hypertext, or the terms crawling the hypertext means retrieving all the software programs by putting together all the hyperlinks. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is search engine, web search engine?
With the help of this, we can get anything which we want. It is a tool which help users to get the desired app or something related to you.
Can you give an example of a search engine?
For certain IDs of a particular famous personality, we can get the simply typing the name or simply typing their handles and all.
Example like Google Chrome. Bing,
Yeah,
MSN, all these are search engines, right? So a web search engine is designed to search for information on the World Wide Web. So how are the results presented? If we search something on World Wide Web, see, the search results are usually presented in a list of results uh, that are based on the popularity, based on the views, and it is commonly called as hits. That means the information may consist of web pages, right? If we search something, we have options of web pages, images, videos, and other types of files, right? So some search engines also, what they do is they mine data available in the databases or open directories. Like we have web directories, right? Which is maintained by human editors. That means it is we can edit that information like Wikipedia. So search engines operate algorithmically. That means it is a mixture of algorithmic and human input. Search engines follow the concept of algorithms, right? Human input in the sense we can edit it. It is editable. You can edit the information that is available. And one example can be Wikipedia. So we have number of search engines, right? Yahoo, we have MSN search, Google search.
Mozilla, Yahoo.
Yeah, famous is popular is Google, right?
Famous is Google to everything. Whenever we search on Google only because it is easily useful for everybody.
Yes.
Because
So we use search engines, right, for various purposes on a day-to-day life. So a prominent one was the Google search engine, which is owned by Google. And earlier, it was started by Yahoo. It was in the year 2000.
Ma'am, Firefox is also search engine, no? Firefox.
Yeah.
Like Mozilla one, Firefox also,
Yes.
no?
Yes.
That is also search engine, no?
Yes. We also have MSN by Microsoft. Right?
Okay.
So Bing is also owned by Microsoft. Okay, so how does a search engine operates? See, it operates by three things. That is web crawling. As I said, what is web crawling, right? Retrieving, putting together all the hypertext or hyperlinks to a particular document in a particular format. Then indexing and searching. That means web search engines work by storing information about many web pages, which they will retrieve from the HTML itself. So these pages are retrieved by a web crawler. As I told you, this is also known as the spider crawler or automated web browser, which follow every link on that particular site. Then the contents of each pages are then analyzed to determine how it should be indexed. See, for example, words are extracted from the titles, headings, or special fields called as meta tags, right? You know what is meta tag? So data about web pages are stored in an index database. It can be used for later queries. So what is a query? A query can be a single word, right?
It can be single word or can be sentence.
Yeah.
It's the type of questions which we ask to get
You want to search information on. Query is the proposed information which you want to search. So the purpose of an index is to allow information to be found as quickly as possible, right? That's why there is a need for indexing. So some search engines such as Google, what they do is they store all information, or let's say some part of the source page, okay, which is known as the main web page, where all the information about the web page is it is stored, so that every word of the particular page can be highlighted and found. So it always holds the actual search text. The
Ma'am, it is
keywords,
also
keyword.
stored the questions which is usually more, asked by users, related questions of the particular query. It
Yes. So
also
wherever this is
specifies
done through keywords. Keywords, you know what is keyword, right?
yes, so some related specific words which is not in a defined way, but in a precise way.
Yes. So here the usefulness of a search engine depends on the relevance of the result, right? The result which is set by the particular search engine. So there may be millions of web pages that include a particular word or phrase, but some pages may be more relevant, popular, or more important than others. So this is done through indexing. So most search engines, what they do is they employ methods to rank the results to provide the best results first, right? So how a search engine decides which pages are the best matches and what order the results should be shown, it varies from one engine to another. If you search on Google and Bing, you'll find the search engines are different in order. So the methods also change over time as internet usage changes and new techniques evolve. So there are two main type of search engines that has evolved now. That means one is a system of predefined and hierarchically ordered keywords that humans have programmed, and the other is the system that generates inverted index. That means by analyzing text as it locates. The first one can be the example of Google, right, where they define words, the ranks, right, where they define ranks to pages. And the other is through inverted index by analyzing the words or keywords or text wherever they are located. Understood? So most of these web search engines are they are commercial ventures and they are supported by advertising revenue, right? So as a result, they employ the practice of allowing advertisers to pay money to have their listings ranked. They sometimes we see the advertising listings ranked higher in search results. You find if you search on Google, if you search something on Google and if you find something there, a search result, you'll find ad, right? The word ad, which will be in bold. So that is ad search result, which is paid. So these search engines, they do not accept money for their search engine results, but they make money by running such related ads alongside the regular search engine results. So the search engines make money every time someone clicks on one of these ads. It's like Google ads, like pay per click. Okay. Is it clear about search engine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is
Yes,
all.
madam. Yes.
Yeah. So now let's talk about what is web journalism. About about a decade or two ago, there was a doubt that web journalism is it is different or distinct from print or broadcast media, right? The technical differences as well as the differences in presentation and content, it was very obvious that time. So there were some deeper distinctions that were either emerging or in the process of developing. So when the broadcast media took shape, it took into account, or let's say adopted, many principles and practices of the print media. And at the same time, it had its own strengths and limitations that encouraged its growth as distinct media, a new form of media. So online media, it has the convergence of what were seen as components of print and broadcast media. Like we have text, graphics, audio, and video. So it is carried by a new technology that has linked virtually every corner of the world, right? So this association has helped it to surpass everything that media world has seen so far. So while the print and broadcast media were constant by time and space. The online media, is in possession of seemingly endless space and time, right, for publication. And it has a global reach, and the content is, let's say, one line for 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. That means it's accessible anytime. So apart from convergence, so a distinct feature of online media is hyperlinking. That means the technology that tells information from all over the world, and it bestows the user with a kind of, a unique experience, because billions of pages of information, millions of pages of news reports, and now online the reader can access with, with the click of a mouse, you can access so much of information. There is a dearth of information. So this brings in the distinction between online news and web journalism. Okay. So what are the other features of web journalism? See, what are the differences here in print and electronic print media, traditional print media, and broadcast media and online media? As I said, you space and time constants have gone, right? There is no constant of time and space. So what are the other functions of traditional forms of media? You have heard about gatekeeping. You know, right? What is gatekeeping function in traditional form of media? Yes, what is gatekeeping function?
News can be filtered through gatekeeping, madam.
Yeah, very good.
Filtering, madam. It's all areas covered in तो सब जगह के न्यूज को जो है ना वहाँ पर लिखे के उसको चुनते उसमें से एडिट कर लेते उसमें से
फिल्टर
करते उसको.
which news
deciding
should go for publication.
Yes, madam.
So see,
Yes, madam.
readers have now become their own storytellers in online media, web journalism. I'm talking about web journalism. So the role of gatekeeper is largely passed from the journalist to the common people now. They decide, right? The gatekeeping functions of media has been,
Yes, madam.
in the hands of common citizens now. See, however, journalism exists only where there is a gatekeeping and some kind of cross-checking and filtering. So there is this difference between online news and the web journalism and traditional forms of media. So the new technology definitely has diminished the agenda setting capabilities of media, right? As the readers have direct access to different sources, especially the primary sources on the web. So here the hyperlinks allow the readers to leave the narration, narration of a story anytime, and they can follow different paths, the different hyperlinks. That's why the role of gatekeepers, have passed on to the readers now, from journalists to the readers in the online journalism or new media. So see, all the readers, they do not have the skills to be the gatekeepers, right? And online media is not necessarily the, we can say that it's not necessarily the portal without guards. So here, journalists can make sense of barrage of information on a given topic, and they can add their own perspective. So this can even be done using hyperlinks selectively, right? Better analysis and depth are possible on the web than, let's say, the traditional form of form of media like radio, television, or newspapers. So as technology improve and mature, news sites can even surpass, let's say, print media also, with the use of these hyperlinks, online databases, or these websites with other innovations. Here, the interactivity nature of the web is very important. The interactivity of the web, including the choice before the readers to decide from a given story through to follow the hyperlinking, or it has also reduced the editorial control now. because the reader's behavior will be unpredictable, right? When the story is offered with hyperlinks. So apart from following the hyperlinks, the reader has the choice of switching to another publication, right? Instantaneously. That means if he doesn't like the story of a particular publication, he can switch on. So very often journalists on their part, they cannot even present a whole product, as readers will be entering a site instantly without through the search engines or hyperlinks, or they can read a single story. So even a whole story may not be looked at. There is a possibility, right? So these kinds of problem exist even in respect of print media. But a reader would not easily throw away newspaper he has bought for reading. He will definitely read it. Because those stories may not be read in full, the journalists at least have some control there in the traditional form of media. So they can keep the reader interested through, let's say, skilled narration or a feature. So this would not work well with the web, right? Because most readers, they only scan material on the computer screen. This is mainly because of this rigidity and low resolution of the screens also that reduce the readability format. This can also be one of the problems. So the situation may improve with the advances in technology further. But here, presentational elements like we have the title, the headings, the subheads, they will help to retain readers as let's say the attention of the readers, or grab his attention, because the readers can scan through the material. Here pictures may not be of much help, because see, there was a study on eye tracking by Stanford University, and what they suggested that visitors scan for text and links rather than visuals on the web, because they did not even care much for this animation thing. So we can say interactivity has its advantages, because we get feedbacks, sometimes almost we get instant feedbacks, but this never happens in the traditional form of media such as print media. Feedback is always limited and delayed, of course, because you have to wait for at least 24 hours or sometimes a week for the feedback, right, from the readers. So if the website provides for unmoderated feedback, readers' response appears as soon as they are posted, right? So on several locations, readers' inputs can enhance the report itself, right? They can correct it. There is instant feedback. So, and it is also possible to offer tremendous amounts of background and other information to those readers who are looking for in-depth material through external links, and also links to the publication's archives. And background and archive material could be offered in several ways, where you can retrieve the information using links, or you can go back to the by pressing the back button of the browser, right? Archive material can be accessed, they can be downloaded also. And these archive material can have links to the home page, and even they have sections through a link where you can go back to the original report, right? So the link stories can go on like thousands, and you can read it thousands of times until you get satisfied. So we have this advantage here. So though much step we can achieve in-depth information through this practice, but the nature of the screen, right? The nature of the screen, the eye, as I said, eye tracking thing, it puts a severe limitation on how much the reader can see, or how much he would be willing to scroll and go through the entire information, because efforts are needed on the part of the readers to go through the material offered. So apart from the screen resolution, then there is the multiplicity of choices that the readers have, right? It's the big task for the reader. It's very difficult, because you have to scan through all those materials which has been offered. There are millions of pages and so many hyperlinks, text, right? So interactivity is central to the new media, but it cannot be passive like when he's watching television. That is entirely different experience. Understood the nature of interactivity? So here we can say that editor's job becomes, more liberal here, because in assisting the reader in his interactive exercise, right? Here, the editor has to filter. The gatekeeping function can come here, because at least, readers should make some selections from the thousands of related links which are available for him. So here the editor should be doing, but better than the job that is done by a search engine. He should make the work easier for the readers, right? By incorporating all the elements of information in the particular editorial piece. Because if we don't do that, the job or the role of editors would become extinct, right? What is the job of the editor? To make it easy for the readers to understand. Okay.
Content should be unavoided content should be extracted, and the besides important content should be.
Yeah, editing is right? What is editing? So knowing the reader and targeting is very impossible, right? It's next to impossible on new media because of the global reach of the new media. So what an editor can do, he can only produce pages with a set of readers in mind. But it can, turn out they are not the ones who visit the site. We don't know who are the target audiences who are visiting our site, right? Or we are not the only ones who are interested, right? There can be students, there can be different sections of people. So increased scope for reader comments on the web interface can solve this problem here. Interactivity, right? The audience feedback, the reader's feedback can save the job of the editor here, because many this news sites also, they carry large number of reader comments. Readers can post their comments. So some allow them to post instant, feedback without the approval of the moderator, without moderation. So the comments may give some indication as to who the readers are and where they come from. So technology too can, have advantages and its disadvantages here. So online editors should make it, a point to go through at least the, the summaries or the comment section, and they have to rectify what are the, shortcomings. And here advertisers also, they face the problem of targeting, right? Targeting the audience on the web. So some of these web advertisers, what they have done is they have even developed some technologies to collect readers' profile and readers' habits. This is done through social media platforms as well, where they collect the information, right? The buying or the reading habits of the readers' profile. So this personal information can be taken through social media platforms like we have Facebook, LinkedIn, right? Through this also information can be taken, and they will customize the advertising message according to the profile of the readers. But these technologies, they, however, they invite charges of privacy intrusions. They have been into this thing, right? They're facing this problem because the users complain of privacy intrusion, right? Especially when it is not done with the knowledge of the reader. And when advertisers or news sites are doing it, it may not make a difference, because if the news sites, if they themselves do it, then there is no point, right? So there is a consensus on the best practices in respect to what should be done to solve this problem. Okay, then what is convergence, right? So the web has made convergence of text, pictures, graphics, audio, and video possible. So here news sites can now combine all these to present news stories, right? Many have predicted convergence happening in newsrooms with reporters writing text, then recording sound and reporting in front of cameras, while the editors handle all the three of them. There were some, there was some criticism about it. But, a proper journalistic form for using all the three media, that is the print, audio, and video, to tell a story, it is yet to emerge still, the proper form. Because, see, either different media is chosen according to subject, or a second, right, or a third media used to supplement the first one. That means they often remain separate on news sites. If we observe any news sites, then see, technically it is possible to combine them as multimedia presentation, right? See, sight and sound that are means through which we can understand the world and communicate with each other. So writing, on the other hand, is sophisticated. It is a tool developed, to process in the process of understanding in depth, right? So we have to take care of that element also. And then see, there is unlimited space and low cost. This is another feature, because as in other parts of the world, see, web editions of print media, and they have everything. Many newspapers have closed now, and they have gone online, right? Internet edition, and some of them have become distinct also. See, there is a characteristic feature of their own, right? Print have its own advantage. In India, of course, it will not die soon, because there are many loyal readers who still buy newspapers and read. But in other countries, some of the countries, newspapers have extinct. See, newspapers in India have started their web editions as early in the 90s, because by late 90s, most English and many vernacular newspapers had their presence on the web. And newspapers started considering these web editions as serious part of their business, because they were facing a serious competition. It was a threat. Online media was a threat to the traditional form of media. And most have not yet thought it is necessary to make use of unique features of the new media at that time. And several of them, they just carry the news and photographs that appear in the print editions. That means the e-papers. So frequency of updates is low, and the offerings were predominantly, the previous day's news that time. So newspapers also are yet to make full use of the potential of the web, even with respect to use of the, let's say, the unlimited space, which is available at low cost. So with newspapers going in for more and more editions now, news from different regions, they do not reach all the people even within a state. So there were some, readers' complaints about this localization of news, because newspapers often get requests from, some eminent people like politicians and others for statewide and national coverage that they just cannot honor for want of space, right? They have certain policy which they have to adhere to. So many readers also, they want to get the local news from the other parts of the country. So several Indian states have their people working in other parts of the world who are interested in local news. So still local news, it is very, in scarce supply on the web as far as the newspaper sites are concerned, because they gather local news as part of their print operations, right? State-wise or city-wise. So it requires little effort to upload it on the web. So the process can now even be automated, because you don't have to, wait for the print edition and you have to wait for it to scan, right? You can automatically, the reporters can automatically update the news on the particular website, the news site. So there is also no much attempt to offer this comprehensive coverage of events, right, beyond what the print media can offer. This is also one of the drawbacks, because web only editions we have these editions, right, which are only exclusive for web, that are known as web only editions, web editions. So what they do is they made their appearance only in the later, let's say if it's evening news, they only publish, the stuff related to what happened that particular day from morning to evening. That is eveninger. Okay. Then we also had some popular web pages, or you can say web editions, like the helka.com. Now, when it came into existence, it was, it came with very poor design, and it was, very popular for carrying sensational stories. Okay. Earlier, it did not survive, but, there were several efforts which were made to relaunch it. So this was partially on account of official harassment, because people were against the sensational news which it was offering. But later they redefined, and they survived, and they are still, working, and they have changed the way they function. Okay. Then what are the other such websites, web editions, who are known for the sensationalism of news. There are so many, right? We also have this alt news.
Yes, that they are practicing.
Yeah.
Mostly they use, they pick the topic
For
with
fake news, yes.
practical.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, many YouTube channels also, like YouTube content are on reality, like group reality and all. They talk on these issues, the running issues and all, to avoid the confusion between the audience.
See, they try various gimmicks to attract views, right? But consequently, the credibility suffers here. And they are always on the constant lookout for revenue streams. These type of sensational web editions, right? Okay, so what are the other features of web journalism?
Now we can get the news instantly as it happens. If we can view on the particular website or particular channel, they raise the issues at the same time without editing.
Live coverage.
We get the raw news without editing. Sometimes it may be deleted, but sometimes we get the actual sceneries of the news.
Yes, we have news at our fingertips.
Yes, ma'am.
Then as technology is constantly evolving, see, we already technologies such as this wireless application protocol have made it possible to access news on the go. In future, more new technologies and devices that push and allow customers to pull, the, let's say, custom-made sites will emerge. That means they will not bring about democratization of news or plurality of opinion. See, daily news coverage would definitely continue to be dominated by big news organizations. But alternative as well as specialized news analysis and opinion, this will find many small players, right? Despite the presence of these separate editions or big players in the market. Because now the era of small publishers is here on the web, right? So on the other hand, readers, they are supplied with customized information. They may move into a zone where they would read only material that reinforces their perspectives or their opinions and beliefs. So here we can say that the war for people's eyes and ears will be fought on the internet, while, the big players, they have their presence, however, but the small players will emerge as, as we go about in the future. They have instant success because these advertisers are also targeting these new startups, the small publishers, who are customizing the information according to their readers' perspective. Okay, understood? So going about what we have discussed earlier about ICT, the information and communication technologies, where examples can be network, computer, mobile phone, internet. So ICTs are a result of integration of information processing, that is the computing and telecommunication technologies. And this integration took place over 2 decades ago, that is from 1980s to 1990s. Okay. So information technology includes all devices that serve the purpose of information processing. An example can be computer, the calculator, right? Basically, these technologies, what they do is they store information, process it, and it allow access to the information. That is the storage and retrieval of information. So before computer, information was stored in books, registers, and processing was done by human brains. But now through technology, it is done through computers, right? So communication technology includes mobile phones, wire telephone, that is the mobile phone landline, right? And then earlier, how it was done? It was done through human messengers, right? But now it is through communication technologies. So in other words, any mechanism that serves the purpose of communication is information communication technology. So earlier the telecommunication for a long time, it was based on analog system, but now we have electrical systems, right? So it was, earlier through landline phones, telegraphs, etc. So the key factor in the emergence of ICT was the development of digital technologies, which processes all information in binary forms, that is the zeros and ones. So the first use of computers in telecommunication was during the Second World War, as we discussed in the earlier classes about the evolution of ICTs. So US was the only country which used early computers to encrypt its military communications during the war, right? And computers then had very limited capabilities, which consumed a lot of power, and it was very bulky. So after the war, new research led to fabrication of semiconductor-based transistors, which replaced those bulky power, supply components. So in the mid 1960s, microelectronics revolution also resulted in smaller and more powerful computers. So with the availability of software and hardware spread into almost every sphere of activity, ICT, especially internet, also emerged as a platform and a channel for media content. And many newspaper websites till recently were only a new platform for the print content, but now they all offer constantly updated news along with videos, podcasts, etc. Right? Also, we have 24-hour newsrooms, clickstream, monitoring, all these things we have now. So digital technologies such as the personal computers, printers, cameras, we have CDs, DVDs, they have opened up possibilities for private creation of media content, right? The external source, thus expanding the, let's say, the range of media which we have been using. So this trend depends on the availability of bandwidth, right? The bandwidth which is constantly increasing, right? And it also the low cost to the users, which have increased, right? It is low cost, increased bandwidth at low cost. So Dennis Maxwell has described this phenomenon as communication revolution. So he says that it has shifted the balance of power from the media to the audience. So this is in terms of more options to choose from and more active users of the media now. So the power is in the hands of the audience. So another consequence of convergence is the same digitized content can be adapted for different platforms like print or broadcast or the online media. So for users to content from any media platform can be accessed through ICT, right? Through the use of internet. Then coming together of different modes of communication is called as convergence. So convergence, please make a note of this topic, convergence. It's a very important question. It has linked, convergence has linked traditionally separate industries leading to cross-media production houses, right? We have. So convergence of media technology is a consequence of digitalization. And another consequence of convergence is the question of regulation here. See, for a long time, India also did not allow foreign newspapers to launch their print editions in India. But now any paper can be read online, right? See, since print or broadcast content can now be accessed online, governments are reviewing their separate media policies now. Okay. So what is the extent of access of ICTs in India? So you can go through the TRI report for the latest statistics. Like what is the, how much is internet access, how many are the internet subscribers,
ठहरो बेटा